We did it, you guys. I can't believe it. We actually just hit 100 subscribers.
Nice.
I don't always subscribe on YouTube, but when I do, it's to Nintendrew. Happy 100 subs, Kimosabe.
Nintendrew, what? 100 subscribers, man, congratulations. I remember when I first hit 100 subscribers, I was elated. Keep up the great work.
Happy birthday, Nintendrew. What do you mean it's not his birthday? Who cares about 100?
Hey Nintendrew, congratulations on 100 subs, bro.
You did it, my boy!
Wow, Nintendrew, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you. Congrats on 100 subscribers.
Hey Drew, I just wanted to say congratulations on this amazing feat. I know I'll always remember where I was when I reached this milestone. Here's to 100 more.
Yo, look what I made you. I made you 100 number for 100 subscribers. Just because I know you love the N64. This is basically 100 N64 games. You the man. 100 subscribers. Congratulations!
Oh man, I cannot believe we made it. It has been a crazy journey, and what? 100,000? Well, we gotta do something way better than this. Hey guys, Nintendrew here, and today we have a huge 100,000 subscriber special planned for you guys, including some really big announcements, a Q&A session with questions you guys asked me on social media, and to wrap things up, we've got an awesome giveaway, so more details on that later. So let's start with announcements. First up, I got a P.O. box, finally. People have been asking me to get a P.O. box for weeks, and now we finally have one. So I'll leave the address right here. I'll also have a copy of it in the description. So feel free to send me anything and everything, and your stuff might show up in a future video on the channel. So yeah, I'll definitely be doing some fan mail unboxings. So for the second announcement, if you missed my video a couple weeks ago, I'm actually headed to E3 2018 in Los Angeles this June. So we'll definitely be doing some fan meetups there throughout the convention, and I hope if you are in the area or if you're otherwise planning to go that we'll see you there. And finally, the third announcement is, due to popular demand, I have started a second channel. There's not, as far as I know, there won't be any content there as soon as this video is uploaded, but in the coming weeks, I'm planning on uploading YouTube tutorials and vlogs and behind-the-scenes stuff. There'll definitely be some E3 vlogs going up on that channel. So once again, I'll leave a link to my new second channel in the description below, and you can go subscribe to that if you'd like to see more of my face in your sub box. All right, so with the announcements out of the way, let's get to our Q&A. I got a ton of questions from you guys on both Twitter and on the YouTube community tab, and I've got to say, you guys asked some good ones, so let's go ahead and get started with those questions. The Retro Beast asks, how many consoles do you own? Oh boy, I don't have exact numbers, but I know it's something like 30 unique platforms, and if you're counting like individual systems, like I have a whole bunch of Game Boy Colors and Game Boy Advance SPs for all the different color variants and stuff. So my best guess as far as like actual number of consoles would be closer to like 65, 70-ish, somewhere around there. One cringy boy asks, what is your favorite non-Nintendo console? I think my favorite non-Nintendo console has got to be the Sega Dreamcast. Thomas Gerard asks, what is your favorite Nintendo game? It's got to be Super Mario Galaxy. Odyssey was pretty close, but Super Mario Galaxy has a special place in my heart, so that's what I would have to pick. Would you play a ROM hack of Super Mario 64 where every level texture is Cory in the house? Sign me up. Weeb Mini asks, if you could only save 5 items in your collection, what would you choose? That is a tough question. I guess I'd probably choose a mix of things that are really valuable and things that mean a lot to me. So I'm thinking definitely my Switch. I couldn't live without my Switch. I use that thing every day. Probably number 2 would be Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, which is my rarest Nintendo 64 game. The 64 means a whole lot to me, so I'd probably keep my rarest game. Number 3 would probably be the 64 itself, so that I could actually play Nintendo 64 games. I think number 4 would have to be my Wii U, because it has a lot of virtual console titles on it from the Wii era, and it can also play Wii and Wii U games, so I feel like that would be a good place to start for having a core collection. And I think the last item would probably be another N64 collectible, my copy of Super Mario 64, because I have a boxed copy that I got signed by Charles Martinet, so that means a lot to me. So in the event of a tragedy, those would probably be the top 5 things that I would save. Thank you for the question. Gianfranco asks, what is your favorite Zelda game and why? My favorite Zelda game is The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, and the reason is probably mainly nostalgia. It was the first Zelda game that I actually played all the way through, and I just love the feeling of exploration and adventure when you're out on the sea and that sort of thing, so Breath of the Wild almost edged it out, but I think Wind Waker is still my favorite. Henry asks, cats or dogs? Cats. Oh, see ya, Nessie. Diamond the Meme Master asks, do you think your channel is good? If not, then what could you improve on? I really like this question. This is a good question. I think that my channel is good, yeah, but it has a lot of room to grow. I always like to watch videos from my peers and from other people who are kind of in the YouTube gaming space. I like to see what sort of stuff I can glean from them and what I can learn and what I can continue to improve. I think for my own channel, the things that I need to improve quickly are I need to make a better intro. That intro is super old and it needs to be revamped. And I'd like to improve my upload schedule. I'd like to be able to get more work done, like streamline my workload and be able to get out more videos per week for you guys. So those are kind of some personal goals for 2018. Young Valentine asks, which episode is your favorite and why? I think my favorite video on Nintendrew right now is probably my complete Virtual Boy collection review. That video took a whole lot of effort. I had to go back and record footage for all 14 games that came out in the United States and make my own opinions about each of them along the way. And it was a big undertaking, and I'm pretty proud of that one. Bob asks, what is your favorite video game soundtrack? It would have to be between Super Mario Galaxy and Undertale. I think those both have some excellent soundtracks. Do you think Waluigi should have his own game? Absolutely. Matthew Smart says, let me hit you with the big question. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? It's gotta be Moose Tracks. Fading Shadow asks, what was your first console? Oh, this is a big story. And we got another kind of similar question here. What got you into collecting? But basically, when I was growing up, my parents didn't like me to have video game systems. They would let me play games on PC, but they didn't let me have a game console of my own until I was 13 years old. And the first console that I got, believe it or not, was a Nintendo DS Lite. After getting the DS Lite, I was like, oh, I'm hooked. I have to go back and see all the history of all this. And I went back and I collected an N64 because that's what my friends had when I was growing up. I got a Wii, I got an NES, Super NES, and then the point where I called myself a collector was when I got a GameCube, because I already had the Wii, which could play GameCube games, but I wanted to have the GameCube console just to have the system, so that's where I think I started the collecting syndrome, I guess. Who was your biggest inspiration on YouTube to start your own channel? I've talked about this a little bit before, but definitely the biggest inspiration was Metal Jesus Rocks. He's got an awesome channel about all sorts of retro game collecting, just a great channel about the hobby as a whole. And he has a bunch of guests that come on that I would watch as well, like John Riggs, Radical Reggie, Kinsey Burke, Kelsey Lewin, all of that crew really inspired me to get started on YouTube. What gave you the idea to create videos about rare video games? Very good question. I make the videos that I want to see. And I know that's kind of cheesy and kind of cliche to say, but when I was watching channels like Metal Jesus Rocks, the one thing that I was really interested in that I wouldn't see from anywhere else was, I'm thinking, man, it would be cool to know what are the top 5 rarest games for the Nintendo 64 or for the NES that I should keep my eye out for if I'm like hunting for games at a retro game store. So even more so than talking about rare games, I like to talk about obscure games and kind of like obscure collections in gaming as well. I'm always pleased if I'm able to show someone something they didn't know before they watch my video. That's my goal every time I upload a video, so hopefully I've succeeded thus far. The Nintendrew asks, when you gonna eat a apple? Cartoon Cade asks, what was your first video game experience? Well, I played a few educational games when I was a kid, like when I was like 3 years old on the PC, but the first video game, like the first real game that I remember playing is Jazz Jackrabbit for MS-DOS. It's kind of like a PC equivalent of Mega Man or Sonic, and that is the first video game that really stuck with me that I had a lot of fun with. What is your favorite variation of the Game Boy? This little guy, Game Boy Micro. I love the Game Boy Micro. I think it's a nice little compact system with a great screen and plays all your favorite Game Boy Advance games, so definitely the Game Boy Micro. Quinn asks, will you do a collaboration video with Chadtronic for 100,000 subscribers? I don't know, Chad, will I? Will I, Chad? Are we gonna do a collab, Chad? I see you sitting there in my sub box. I know you see this. What is your favorite childhood gaming memory? Oh man, when I was really young, my mom would babysit for one of her coworkers, and so I would get to go along with her, and the dad of the family had a Nintendo 64 in their living room. And this was at the time when I wasn't allowed to have consoles as a kid growing up, and they had a Nintendo 64 hooked up with one game. It was Donkey Kong 64. And I was a little kid and I didn't know how to play games at the time, but I would go back to Donkey Kong 64 and play like the opening 45 minutes of the game over and over because I didn't know how to get past that point. But I had a blast with it, and it was like my favorite thing to do was just to go and play the intro section of Donkey Kong 64. So that's probably my favorite childhood gaming memory. Wubsy asks, constipation hurts. That's not a question. What was the hardest item to obtain in your collection? I guess one of the hardest items to obtain was probably the NES Classic Edition. I mean, those things went so quick, and I mean, same thing, but to a lesser extent for the Super Nintendo Classic. I was also a part of the whole amiibo craze when, you know, like Waves 2 and 3 and 4 came out of the original line of Super Smash Bros. Amiibos, and I waited in line at Target for like 6 hours before a store would open to be able to get some of those. I remember Rosalina was quite hard to get a hold of at the time, so that would be an alternate answer to your question. Which of your collections are you most proud of? Probably the number one would be my Nintendo 64 complete US library. That took me quite a while to amass and put together, and a lot of time and effort and money went into that, so yeah, and the 64 is without a doubt one of my all-time favorite consoles, so I think that would have to be the collection that I am most proud of. Slash asks, what is your favorite thing about being a YouTuber? I know this is going to sound super cheesy and you're not going to believe me, but like my favorite thing about being a YouTuber is to be able to have this community that I can come back to and have the feedback from you guys. And we built like a big Discord server, and we've got all the followers on Twitter, and I love being able to put out a video and have you guys immediately tell me what you think about it. And yeah, just the community as a whole is my favorite thing. Okay guys, that's about all the time we have for questions, so let's get to what everyone's been waiting for, the giveaway. This is by far the biggest giveaway we've done on this channel, and I'm going to be giving away 5 different prizes, one each to 5 lucky viewers of Nintendrew. Most of these prizes are pretty unique to the channel and kind of represent the videos that you've seen over the past year, so some really cool stuff. Let's run through it. So the 5th place prize winner will get a $20 Nintendo eShop gift card. You can use that on your Switch and download whatever sort of digital titles you'd like to grab from the store. The 4th prize winner will win a copy of Virtual Boy Wario Land. This is from my collection. It's just I happen to end up with an extra copy of it, so I'll be happy to give that out to the 4th place winner. The 3rd prize is something that should be pretty familiar to you guys. This is the Uncle Amiibo Custom Amiibo. This is a fully functional 3D printed Amiibo figure that I hand painted, and yeah, that's going to be given away for the 3rd place winner. The 2nd prize is also something else that you might recognize from the channel. These are DS download station cartridges. These are not for resale kiosk cartridges that Nintendo used to distribute demos back in the era of the original DS, and I've got 2 volumes here to give away. We've got volume 16 and volume 18. So you can kind of kickstart a little obscure collection of your own with that prize. And finally, the grand prize of this giveaway, this 100,000 subscriber giveaway, is going to be something very important to me. This is my one-of-a-kind Nintendo 64 Classic Edition console that I built myself, again, with a 3D printed shell. It's got a Raspberry Pi board on the inside. It can play a huge number of Nintendo 64 games. And if you happen to win the grand prize, you will come home with this unique collectible from the history of Nintendrew. So I hope you guys are excited about that as I am, and make sure to get your entries into the giveaway. In order to enter, all you have to do is check the comments down below. I'm going to have a pinned comment that has a link to the giveaway. There are going to be a bunch of different ways that you can enter to win, so feel free to have at it, and I hope you guys have fun with this, and I can't wait to get these prizes out to you guys. So that's about it. In all seriousness, it is amazing that we've hit 100,000 subscribers, and I can't thank you guys enough. This is all because of you guys, the viewers, and I'm super excited to see what the future has in store for us, but for now I'm just feeling super humbled, really grateful, and yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this 100,000 subscriber special. I realize it's a little bit less scripted than usual and, you know, kind of off the cuff, but I just want to let you guys know how much this means to me, and it's a great honor to be able to do something that I love and have people enjoy it. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to get your entries into that giveaway, and of course, I'll see you next time. Take care.